Hello everyone and welcome to this week's edition of Inside the Inferno. I'm Austin Ford and alongside with me today is Ryan Blank. How are you doing today?
Austin, I'm great. I am so excited to be behind the anchor desk with you, something we've dreamed and envisioned about since freshman year now that we're seniors, and boy, what a time to be alive.
With that being said, let's start off with football. After having their bye week this past week, Arizona State heads off to Stanford with a matchup against the Cardinal. Ryan is joined with Nicholas Hodel in the studio.
Thanks, Austin. I'm joined by Nicholas Hodel, and let's start off with some ASU football in the quarterback situation. Emory Jones got hurt against Washington, head injury. Trent Bourget came in, looked great. 3 touchdowns, only had 1 interception in an upset win. But Coach Iguano announced that Emory Jones is still the starter. Nicholas, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, what happened to Jones against Washington was unfortunate, but that plus Bourget's performance is not compelling enough in my mind to knock Jones out of the starting spot right away. What I like from Coach Iguano is he expressed urgency and said he can make decisions quickly if he thinks someone else can get the job done. In a winnable game like Saturday's against Stanford, how quickly he decides to go away from Jones if he is not excelling at the quarterback position will be a crucial factor should that come up. And it very may well come up, given Stanford's second best passing defense in the Pac-12. Going with a quarterback who is not excelling for too long could spell disaster for a team who badly needs to win to keep any hopes of a bowl game alive.
And Coach Iguano mentioned just because a player gets injured doesn't mean they're going to lose their starting spot. But you mentioned he'll quickly make an adjustment and go to Bourget if Jones is struggling. But Nick, going into this week, what are some keys for ASU to get a win?
There are a couple of main keys I will be looking for. One is discipline. These two teams are on opposite sides of the spectrum, with Stanford being the best team in the conference and a top 5 team nationally in penalty yards per game. ASU is last in the conference and 125th nationally. ASU needs to show signs of good discipline against the Cardinal and not give Stanford any momentum, because chances are the penalties against Stanford will be a rarity. Another key is ASU's running game. This is a matchup that can work out really well, with Stanford's rushing defense being one of the worst in the Pac-12 and in all of FBS football. ASU's rushing offense returned to early season form against Washington with 156 yards, including X-Validay's 111 yards. A great running game can set up so many options for the Sun Devil offense and make it difficult for Stanford to stop the Sun Devils.
And you talked about the rushing game and the offense. Let's go to the defensive side, where Arizona State struggles getting to the quarterback. They're dead last in all of FBS in sacks. What do the Sun Devils need to do this week to finish those plays and get to the quarterback?
They need to show some consistency in actually pressuring the quarterback and getting past the offensive line, which has been an issue that Coach Iguano is trying to focus on. This task is going to be tough for the Sun Devils, as Stanford has improved in not allowing sacks over the past 2 weeks, with just 1 sack allowed in Stanford's win against Notre Dame last week and a clean no-sack performance against Oregon State the week before. Perhaps the question may be, what can ASU learn from Stanford's games against USC, Washington, and Oregon, where the Cardinals gave up 16 sacks in those 3 games?
Thanks, Nicholas. Staying with football, ASU has been looking at many head coaches to fill that role since the departure of Herm Edwards. Inferno Intel's Paul Schultz tells us who might be the frontrunners and what they bring to the table.
After Herm Edwards relinquished his duties as Arizona State head coach, the rumors and discussion about his replacement quickly began to circulate. One of the leading candidates to replace Edwards is current interim head coach Sean Iguano, who has been with the Sun Devil program for 3.5 years, primarily as the running backs coach before taking over for Edwards earlier this season. Another one of the most prominent names being mentioned is Matt Rhule. Rhule was fired from his position as head coach of the Carolina Panthers earlier this month after an 11-27 record as an NFL head coach. However, his college coaching resume is far more impressive, as he compiled a 47-43 record over 4 seasons at Temple and 3 seasons at Baylor. Lastly, another big name being mentioned in the coaching carousel is Dan Mullen, who was fired from the University of Florida in 2021. Mullen has a wealth of head coaching experience spanning 12 years at 2 SEC schools, with 103 wins and 61 losses. Though many names will be tossed around before an official decision is made, these are 3 of the most likely candidates for the job.
Thanks, Paul. I can't wait to see how this process goes down and see who the new head coach will be. Now we turn to Jack Bartlett, where he gives us an update on the men's hockey team.
Thanks, Austin. The Sun Devils on ice have started the season off slower than expected. With a 2-4 record, ASU men's hockey sits a game behind its record through 6 games from a season ago. Don't fret yet, though. The Sun Devils are ranked 48th in the nation, according to Pairwise, ahead of its second series inside of Mullet Arena. They face 22nd-ranked Colorado College in hopes of getting back on track. It won't be easy, but the Sun Devils need to win out this weekend to keep course with the rest of its competition and get back to a .500 record. In its first game at Mullet, the Sun Devils seemingly did everything right. While they didn't put all 29 shots in the back of the net, nor amass as many shots as they should have given their time of possession, the Sun Devils looked solid. They constantly retained possession of the puck in their offensive zone and consistently passed the puck around very well. If ASU can do those things against Colorado this weekend, then they should be in good hands and might walk away back at .500. Back to you guys at the desk.
The hockey team will definitely have a tough matchup against Colorado College. You can stay up to date with that game on Pac-12 Insider. Staying indoors, Inferno Intel volleyball reporter Noelle Blumel updates us on the ASU volleyball team.
After falling short to both Southern California teams of the Pac-12 Conference, the Lady Devils looked to change the narrative this past weekend against the northern part of the state. The Devils clinched the sweep on Friday against UC Berkeley, in which the Devils dominated on offense with 51 kills to the Bears' 32, but fell short to Stanford in 4 sets on Sunday. Our very own Alex DaCosta has more details with the recap of the Devils' match against the Cardinal.
Arizona State had a strong lead, winning the first set 25-22, but then fell short to Stanford in the last 3 sets.
There were 23 ties and 11 lead changes in the first 2 sets alone. ASU and Stanford competed head-to-head in the 3rd and 4th set. Junior outside hitter Roberto Rebello beat her season high in kills. Rebello led the Sun Devils with 12 kills. At the end of the night, Rebello was recognized for having the best hitting percentage out of all the other pin hitters. Rebello's not the only dominating hitter in Sunday night's match. Senior outside hitter Iman Asanovic earned 13 kills against Stanford. The power duo Rebello and Asanovic led the team in offensive attacks. It was not a simple task for Stanford to get through the Sun Devil defense. Leading in blocks was sophomore middle blocker Andy Krilling with 6, and freshman opposite Leah Miller, breaking her record high with 4 blocks in the match. Both players finished the night with 5 kills. However, Stanford's control of their serves and consistent kills won them the game. Head coach Tomasovic comments on the team's crucial need for a fast-paced recovery after losing a point.
So, that was my challenge for them. It's kind of like, let go, who cares? Like, that's bridge under the water. Just like that first set was bridge under the water. We don't get anything out of it. We have to focus on the next play. And so that's what I mean by us having to be able to let go faster when things don't go our way.
Rebello discusses after-game thoughts.
They were coming after us. They were trying to keep their system, which was probably serve well, to take our middle out or have us in the auto system, and they did a really good job. I think it happens after 1 point, 2 points, and then they were scoring. We kind of stopped a little bit, but we never gave up. We never gave up our composure, of determination, and then we kept in the 4th set. I think we fought a lot in the 4th, at the end of the 3rd, and in the 4th. Yeah.
The Devils will now hit the road to face the Northwest Washington teams. For Inferno Intel, this is Alex DaCosta.
Thanks for that, Alex. And hopefully the Devils can achieve back-to-back victory in the Evergreen State, starting off on Friday in the House of the Huskies. That is the University of Washington, which also happens to be head coach Sonia Tomasovic's alma mater. And then shortly after on Sunday at Washington State. Don't miss it this weekend. We now send it off to Kobe Bronstein, where he gives us an update with women's soccer.
After an 8-game unbeaten streak to start the season, the ASU women's soccer team has cooled off a little bit as of late, going just 1-3-1 in their last 5 contests. Losses during that stretch came at the hands of the top 3 teams in the Pac-12, UCLA, Stanford, and USC, all of whom are linchpins in the NCAA Top 25 rankings. Last Friday, October 14th, the Sun Devils faced off against the Utah Utes at home and battled the full 90 to a scoreless draw. Freshman goalkeeper Pauline Nels turned in her best performance since sporting the maroon and gold. registering a career-high 9 saves to preserve the draw and her 3rd clean sheet of the campaign. On Thursday, October 20th, ASU played the first leg of their final road trip of the season against Washington State. The score was knotted at 0 after 45 minutes of play, but the Sun Devils erupted for 2 second-half goals that sealed the deal in a 2-0 victory. The Cougars gave Nels all she could handle with a whopping 32 shot attempts, but the German keeper turned away all threatening chances to capture her 2nd consecutive clean sheet and her 4th of the season. Goals were scored by graduate student Olivia Wen in the 50th minute and junior Hannah Leitner in the 77th minute, helping improve ASU's record to 7-3-3 overall and 3-3-1 in the Pac-12, good for 5th in the conference. The Sun Devils will remain in the Evergreen State for a few more days as they gear up for a matchup on Sunday, October 23rd against Washington and return home to finish out conference play against Oregon, Oregon State, and Arizona. Guys, back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Kobe. Finally, we turn to the ASU women's triathlon team. Inferno Intel's Blake Neiman updates us on their strong start to the season.
The Arizona State women's triathlon team has been dominating the competition for years, claiming each of the past 5 national championships. However, up until this season, the Sun Devils have not been able to compete at the Division I level due to women's triathlon not being an NCAA-sanctioned sport. Now ASU will have the opportunity to claim the first ever NCAA championship in women's triathlon after winning the NCAA West Regional Qualifier. Arizona State once again blew the competition out of the water, scoring 123 points as a team, which was 41 points better than the runner-up, University of South Dakota. The Sun Devils had 4 racers finish inside the top 5. Most notably, the 1-2 punch of Heidi Jurankova and Amber Schlebusch accounted for 55 of the Sun Devils' 123 points. ASU will finish off its season in their own backyard, Tempe Town Lake North Beach, on November 12th, as they look to make it 6 straight national titles for the program.
Thanks, Blake. With that, this week's show has come to an end. Be sure to stay up to date on the latest in ASU sports on our website at infernointel.com and our Twitter at InfernoIntel. For Austin Ford and the rest of the crew, I'm Ryan Blank. We'll see you next time on Inside the Inferno.